Guys, and welcome back to another All Heart video. So as promised, we have our flower activities video that is perfect for spring and also for that botany lesson if you guys are homeschooling at home. So we do have quite a few activities, so let's just go ahead and get started. Now, for the very first activity, my son is working with his 3-part cards that are pretty iconic in Montessori. So as he familiarizes himself with all of the cards, he is looking at the highlighted portion of each of the cards in order to memorize what that particular part is. Once he has a better idea of what they are, then he's able to identify each of the cards and fill in the appropriate label for that card. Now, as an added bonus, I did print out these plain clear cards so that I can go ahead and highlight in red the portion that I'm basically quizzing him on. And I just thought it was fun, and he thought it was fun because he doesn't know which portion is going to be highlighted. And it also gives him not only good practice for him to write everything down, make sure that the spelling is correct, but it really helps to reinforce those different parts of the flower as well. The last part that I included with his lessons were the definitions for all of the different parts that are highlighted with the flower. So not only is he reinforcing the different parts that are highlighted, but now he's also understanding the function of each of those parts. And I was very happy that I included this model because, again, not only does it help to reinforce the different parts, but it's really fun to be able to see this dissection of this flower in this particular way. And I feel like this model really did a great job of modeling that. Now for this activity, it is the Montessori puzzle. Now I love these types of puzzles because you can use them in more than just this particular way. And I love that it is challenging enough for my son, but easy enough for my daughter, who's a lot younger, to do as well. So that way they can both participate in this type of lesson. Now, if you have older children and if they're getting obviously bored with just putting the puzzle together, then having them trace it out is a wonderful way to, again, reinforce the different parts of this flower. And it also helps with those fine motor skills and that hand and eye coordination. They really do have to concentrate. They have to hold their hand very steady. And it's just a really nice way for them to have this diagram that they've created themselves. And as soon as they're finished with that, it's also a nice way for them to be able to label all of those particular parts that they have been working on and create this type of art project that is complete. And once they are done with that, then it's nice for them to be able to color it if they want, and they can see the highlighted portions and really create it into this really nice artwork that you can hang up later. Now, if your children are anything like mine, then you have to include a fun sensory activity for them. And there's nothing simpler than this, especially if you are working with flowers. So all that you're going to need is some plastic pots, some utensils and scooping items so that they can scoop the beans, which is representative of the soil, and then they create their really pretty flower pots. Now, my children played with this for so long. It's very simple and it's a lot of fun. And again, it's the perfect addition to this wonderful flower activity. Now, I wanted to include a nice labeling activity for my daughter who just turned 4. Now, because my daughter cannot read, I wanted to include the different pictures for the labels, and that made it so much easier for her to be able to label the different parts of the flower. Now, I did still include the word, that way she can make the connection between the word and the picture. Again, if you have younger children, just adding a simple picture representative of that word is going to make it that much easier for them to work on activities such as these. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with these popsicle stick puzzles. I wanted to try my hand at them, and I included the diagram of the flowers since we have been working with this for a little while now with all of these different activities. And again, the more that you work on reinforcing something, the better it's going to be for your children to memorize all of these different parts. So I love that this puzzle was challenging enough for my son, but it was also something that my daughter could do as well. So again, something that they can both participate in. This next activity was a lot of fun to create for my daughter. Now, all you're going to need is a paper towel roll or toilet paper roll that I usually save for projects such as these. And then you're going to cut out the different labels for your flower and the different labels to name all of the parts of the flower so that your child can put it in order. My daughter absolutely loved this activity. It was very fun for her, and it was very easy to set up as well. Now, this activity is one that I introduced to my daughter when she was about 2.5, and it is still one that we pull out every single spring just because it's a lot of fun and my daughter still really enjoys it. Now, I did decide to include realistic pictures for the different tube objects because it made it that much more challenging as opposed to just using the actual picture of the object. So, you guys get to choose which one you want to use. Now, these flower pictures I was able to print out from a shop on Etsy. My daughter absolutely loved this matching activity. Not only is she looking at the different vibrancies of all of the flowers, but it's just a really fun activity for them to do at that age. This final activity is a toy, but it is so educational. I highly recommend it. My daughter pulls it out the entire year, and I absolutely love it because they get to form the different parts of the flower. So again, it reinforces everything that they've been learning up to this point. So they get to pick the stem and the leaf, the different flowers and the different colored petals, and they even get to pick the center of the flower, which is where the stigma and the style and the pollen tube would be. So it's really fun for them to be able to create all of these different colored flowers, but they're also learning all of these things in the process. So again, the perfect educational toy in my opinion. And that will do it for this video, you guys. One more thing I wanted to include is mentioning this book. So if you haven't chosen a book for spring, I highly recommend this one. It's got really beautiful illustrations. It's got wonderful information that is not only catered to children that are a little bit older like my son, but it is fun enough for my daughter to be able to understand, and it's written in a way that it is fun for both of them to be really engaged. So highly recommend this book. It is called What's Inside a Flower. And that will do it for this video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Please remember to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of when I next post a video. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here very, very soon.